Good morning, good morning, good morning. I am Reverend Sharon Renee, spiritual leader for Tyler Unity Center, and this week I'm coming to you as officially ordained from Unity. Woo woo! I want to welcome you to this pre-recorded service. I want to remind you that we are live here in Tyler, Texas, that you can join us and have great community. Service starts at 10:30 a.m. every day. Every Sunday. I want you to come every day, every Sunday. And we are happy to have you. You can join us live on Facebook at 10:30 a.m. as well. But I want to remind you, and we are talking about money, to be generous with not only your time of watching us, but to be generous with your donation. So make sure that you go to our website, tylerunitycenter.org, and click the donate button and make a tithing contribution for the spiritual food that you are receiving, because this is what keeps us going. All right, so last week we talked about abundance and prosperity and the slight difference between the two. This week with money, we are talking about generosity, giving, and receiving. Generosity is very important, and to me, God is generosity, because change the name. God generously gives to us that and the energy that we are focused on. So if we are really going, the world hates me, I don't have any money, God generously supports that for us. We get it. If we're saying, thank you, God, for all that I have, all that I receive, and we're thinking of our positive thoughts, we're owning that, but we are saying, when we get to that hint and God says, hey, you know, that person behind you pay for their groceries, and you hear that God voice and going, God, I'm just trying to work on prosperity here. I'm not ready for that. Okay, you're going to get it in the way that you receive it, but that God voice is going to speak to you about this generous spirit, and God gives to us generously. And so the generously is coming with an open heart of love and giving. It's not just about money. It's about like our time, our talents, checking in on people, having that heart open, because that's what God is. God is generosity. God is coming through us in a generous spirit, because it's like, let me give to you that which you desire. In turn, we also honor God and we honor humankind. We are here not just for ourselves, we are here to do good works with humanity through our generosity. And so when we give, and we give grudgingly or out of guilt or out of duty, just like when I says, go and hit the donate button and tithe, if you're doing it like, that darn lady, she's always talking about tithing and I'm tired of it, but I'm going to give it so she'll get off my back. No, there's not going to be any benefit to you for that. None. It has to be from the heart. So whenever we're giving, we need to give generously, lovingly, joyfully, and without dissonance, without frustration. So it's this with ease, with grace, that we give. And here's the thing, when we give with generosity, we receive. Now, if we are giving, and this is really kind of important, and this is where the law of attraction and the secret broke down in communications for people, because people aren't always hearing that we're not to be attached to the outcome. We're giving it over to God. We're letting God manage the details to bring us what it is that we're asking for or needing in the right and perfect time. But we have a tendency to want to micromanage God, because who would know better about our life than us? Because God knows nothing, right? That's where we come from. Well, God's not taking care of that. God is taking care of that. But are we in that abundant mindset of putting our energy into this and into the giving of it? Are we in the abundant mindset where we can give knowing that we are going to be provided for? And are we in the prosperity consciousness of knowing that, this is unlimited resources here, and I'm just tapping into the universal supply, and I'm not even taking away what's somebody else's. So there is this infinite supply for me, and there's an infinite supply for everyone else. And this understanding and through this unity teaching can change the world, because we don't have to fight over lack. We don't have to be competitive. By giving generously, we also generously receive. But we also have to open the door to receiving. So here's the thing about receiving. Sometimes we say no. So a good example, and this is true for me, is I had times in my life where I lived in lack. And somebody wanted to take me to lunch, wanted to go to lunch. I went to lunch, but then they wanted to pay for it. I did not want them to pay for it, because all I could think of was I will owe them one. Well, here's the thing, the universe, God, is giving us the opportunity to have more money in our account by letting this other person do it, and this other person may not have an ulterior motive at all, that they just want to do this. This is something they want to do. They appreciate everything that you're giving to them. Because, but we go in with these restrictions. And it's kind of like when people would offer to babysit my children. Well, they had children too, and for me, I was like, oh, well, I can't have them do that, because then I'll have to be babysitting their children, and I don't have time for that. So we restrict ourselves. So we have to be able to receive in any means that it comes. And remember, if we're giving generously, what's coming to us is not receiving something that's painful, it's receiving something that's good. If we're giving begrudgingly, then what we might receive might not feel good, because we might receive a bill from the power company that we didn't pay, even though we thought we had paid, or the check had bounced or something. So there's these things that can happen if we are begrudging that situation. So in your giving, not just in your money, but in all areas, you give generously, because that's what God gives. God gives us everything that we want in a generous amount and a generous infinite supply. And it's our birthright to tap into that supply. We'll talk more about money next week. Have a great week.